Hi, welcome back to Binkerbelle's Yarning. Today is Wednesday, September 18th. I know I told you the date yesterday, but I have a tendency to forget things from day to day. So it is We Learn Wednesday, and we're taking a look at Frances Brown and her miniatures. Now, the work that Frances does is incredible, like mind-blowingly beautiful. And I mean, I've done work with small needles before, with small hooks before, doing doilies and whatnot, and what she does is far beyond what I could even imagine doing. So Frances is actually Toronto born. So she's from right here in Ontario. She's moved to beautiful cottage country in northern Ontario. Now, northern Ontario is gorgeous. I spent a lot of time up there, and it's definitely a great place to retire to, that's for sure. So she's a wife of 36 years, a mother and a grandmother. She learned to crochet around 7, which is pretty standard. If your mother or grandmother have crochet, then it's normal for you to start at such a young age. And she was self-taught, so that is amazing. At the age of 7, she taught herself how to crochet. At the age of 10, she learned how to read patterns on her own, which is, again, fantastic. No YouTube then, so all by herself. She made her first doily from a pattern book. Her mother was shocked that she had made it following a pattern from a book, so she learned how to read all the symbols and whatnot by herself. Frances made 4 more matching doilies for her mother and her grandmother. Frances loves crochet, obviously, and does so almost every day. She got into crocheting miniatures because she wanted the challenge of something extreme. Now, crocheting miniatures is extreme, like absolutely extreme, and you'll see what I mean when you take a look at her work. She came across miniatures on the internet and knew that was what she wanted to do. She ordered the thread and the hooks and set off to master this new skill. Now, Frances had been at this point, Frances had been crocheting for the better part of her life, so it was pretty natural for her to switch to miniatures, but it did still take her 3 months to actually master the skill. She says that the hook is so small that she sometimes pokes herself in the finger and cuts herself. So she uses a 0.4 millimeter hook. So this is the closest I could come. I went through all of my hooks. Now, I used to do doilies, so I have some pretty tiny hooks. So she uses a 0.4 millimeter. Now this here, this is one of the closest hooks I could find. It's all blurry. This is a 0.6. And it is teeny, teeny, tiny. I don't know how small. I don't know if you guys can see how small that really is, but it is tiny. Let's see if I put it again. Okay, and this here is a 0.75 hook. So again, super duper duper little tiny heads, like to the point that I'm having trouble getting my camera to focus on the head. It is so tiny. So she uses ones even smaller than that. So they're special order hooks that you have to actually look online for. So she also ordered the thread to go with that. I'll get into more details of what thread she uses. So she spent years spreading her miniature crochet love. Fortunately, her eyesight started to get too difficult for her to see, so she had to give up for the most part. She can't crochet them every day anymore, but she still does it because it is a love of hers. She still crochets for herself, and she still makes doilies and whatnot and projects for her grandkids. So I mean, when you have grandkids or you have nieces and nephews, I mean, you can't help but not crochet for them. So she sticks to her first love, which is doilies, and every now and again she'll make miniatures. Now, the really cool part is that Frances's work can actually be found all over the world. So dollhouses everywhere have pieces from her. Now, the dollhouse miniature toddler, which you'll see in one of the pictures, is only 2.5 inches from head to toe. So we're talking like tiny, like smaller than this tiny. This is big in comparison. So she uses Lisbeth size 80 tatting cotton, as well as DMC size 80 and a 0.4 millimeter hook. Now, crochet cotton you normally get in 10. That's pretty standard, 8 or 10. So again, thread is special order. The only thing you can really get even remotely close to is sewing thread, and that's still even a little bit big. She designs her miniature dresses, hats, and doilies herself. She does still follow written patterns as well. One of the pictures shows a frame design that was created by putting several doilies together. Now it was made by, put together by somebody else, not by Frances. And it's phenomenal and astronomical how many of these little doilies went into making this picture, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So she also creates mini afghans from patterns found online. So what you'll see is the pink, blue, and white one is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So she'll actually take patterns that are written for larger yarn and use the thread to make miniatures. So for their little beds and whatnot. So I love that. That's gorgeous. And you'll see a couple corner to corners that she made that are just absolutely adorable. So the largest doily in the photo collection that you'll see is 15.5 inches in diameter. That's it. Just barely over a foot. So that's like crazy, absolutely crazy. So we'll cut to the photo montage and just ooh and ah and fawn over the absolutely gorgeous work that she does, because it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. So there you go, Frances Brown and her miniatures. I will see you tomorrow for Nifty Things Thursday.